Right to a channel of Black Fluid. Welcome back to Moonfire, and here we are at the finale of our Seeker's Saga. There's a lot going on in this one, and if you remember, we just had a pleasant time with Kameo and the others at the tavern and the castle. Will it stay as good? We'll find out. Exulted shouts and hurrahs echoed from the inner courtyard, rustling my sleep. It seemed inconsistent bout to the brigade celebration was still underway by a rambunctious few. I sat up for a moment and wondered how late, if late at all, it had become. As loud as the shouts woke me, they grew vastly quiet only moments later. I sat still a while longer, listening to the noises from my cabin window. Only the sounds of bugs and night creatures sung out. Having assumed it's nearly the last banter of the event, I tried to lay my head to rest, only to toss among my sheets. I do not know what came over me, but something tugged at me anxiously. I didn't feel tired enough to go back to bed, not yet. Times like these, I feel maybe getting up for a quick refill of my water skin and heading back to bed could settle me. I exit the cabin and take the short walk to a small station of supplies, one of the many water barrels to fill my pouch. Rounding the corner of the outer courtyard, I noticed the barrel lying on its side. It must have been tipped by a group of soldiers during the night. A small pool of mud near the ground showed it was rather empty either way. Didn't feel like making the trip all the way to the well, on the far side of the inner courtyard. At least not yet. I do not know if it was the appearance of the barrel's weathered wood, or the sight of it tipped that reminded me of the tavern, an exuberant first gathering, of which made me remember Kameo and his request of finding Tal. With Kameo's worry in mind, and not really know if it has been most of the night or only a mere hour after dusk, I wondered if I should find Tal and check in on her for Kameo's sake. If it was still early in the night, I might find Tal and could still let Kameo know, if at least to settle his worried mind. Worst case, I can settle my own nerves and perhaps fall asleep just fine myself. Not feeling like walking the entire castle, I'll just check the sleeping corridors alongside the outer courtyard. Remember, the majority of the culvens were placed in the cabins near mine, and Tal's was among them. Walking past my own, I approached a barrack set for the culvens. The candles were snuffed out, judging by the window's lack of light, so I decided to give the door a soft knock. I'd have felt weird doing so if it was a private room, but seeing as how half a dozen of the culvens resided here with Rashek, it seemed more acceptable. I waited a good moment, almost wondering if I knocked loud enough for anyone awake on the inside to hear. Assuming my knock wasn't loud enough, I decided to do so once more and wait. Nothing. Is it really that late? I glanced up to the sky and in doing so realised there was nothing there to tell the time. The stars were bright in the night and the moon hung ominously over in the same spot it always has. Having already come this far, I decided to crack the door and peek inside. Something from the earlier shouts at my unease made me feel I just had to check. The inside was quiet and near pitch black at first glance, until my eyes could adjust. And then I saw them all. The majority of the barracks was filled already with sleeping culvens. They slumbered in beds lining both sides of the narrow cabin. Lumps of bodies curled snugly away in their blankets, a few tails hanging from the individual sheets below. I feel I worried for nothing, realising the nearest bed was occupied with the same face as Tal. She was sound asleep with only but a head poking from her blankets. Not wanting to disturb any of them, I softly closed the door and headed back to my cabin. Rounding the outer courtyard back to my place, see Yara standing by the supplies I was just at. Most likely also upset at the sight of an empty water barrel. The buckets were quite heavy and took a good time to refill from the well. I'll have to do so tomorrow morning. I was about to cross the courtyard and approach to see how the event had gone for her when shouts and screams echoed from the inner courtyards. This time it was different. I realised the tone immediately. The scream was sharp, horrifically sudden in nature and tones that echoed from the stones, dissipating into an eerie silence that followed. Shouts an instant later call from the night, the location of which sends a sharp shudder down my spine. A point followed I almost thought was I was hallucinating the sounds, to look to Yara, who was also transfixed in the same direction as I. The location of which came not from the castle, but the valley fields beyond. The moon left an uncanny reddish glow to the skies, but the silhouettes of the horizon left everything beneath it as pitch black as any night could get. I could not tell what or who was out there. Just as I wanted to stare a moment longer, hoping my eyes would adjust to the darkness in the valley, a whistling splits the air. Whizzing just overhead, I catch a glimpse of several thin blurs pass by and thwack across the walls of the castle behind me. 2 of them? 5 of them? Arrows! Dozens of them! I instantly duck, looking at Yarrow, who for some reason did not do the same. Close the gates! Yara? Yara! Close the gates! The cries of a guard reverberate through the air as he dashes along the exterior wall from the opposite end of the courtyard. He was positioned at such a distance that I couldn't discern either the creature or his voice clearly. The creature appeared in such a frantic hurry towards the gates as if being pursued relentlessly. Between him and I stood Yara, looking outward into the dark. It was as though she was frozen by stone, having not ducked or hardly moved since I last saw her. I tried to glance at her face, but the night made the details near impossible to determine her reactions. I ran for the gate myself, only yelling behind the Yara afterwards. Get inside! Take cover! To my relief, I noticed her movement break free. She heeds my concern and runs across the opening. I don't know if it was fear or my voice, but none of it mattered. Yara sprinted to the cabin nearby, swinging the door closed as fast as the hinges would allow. My heart pounded ferociously against my chest, into my legs towards the gate. Arrows start hit a second round, flying just overhead. Brigade guards above began to yell out from the castle walls. We're under attack! Station the walls! Every morning I walked this path, but in a sprint for my life felt slow and painful, as if the gate's distance never shortened. 10 seconds later felt all an eternity in this moment. I finally reached the gate, somehow in one piece, slamming against the wooden door. I never once moved those doors myself, and doing so only now I'd realised how heavy they actually were. I heave and huff, feeling the weight move but only centimetres. I dig my heels into the dirt, pushing as best I could. I glanced up in frustration at the guard who had been shouting to Yarrow only moments ago, hoping he'd come to help. Yet saw only a dark silhouette of a body lying on the ground several metres off. Station the walls! I hear the shouts above yet again. Close the gates! I huff and gasp, nearly falling over the relieving sound of the door slamming against the stone jambs. One side down, but still the other to go. My body involuntarily shook. Something was attacking behind me in the dark. I tried to shake the feeling an arrow could pierce me any moment. Just as I was crossing the second door, a figure flies through with the thuds of several brigadiers following suit to bar the other end. You're awake? Good. The wolf braces against the second door and pushes it with me. Are they here? Who? Soldiers, bandits. I can't see who it is, not yet. Several guards on the other end, tugging at the metal brace and readying the wooden post to lock the gates. Stop! Don't go out! Tarbury commands from the other side as a muffled reply retorts against hers. Amid the final gap of the gate, one more creature slides through before the thud of the door slams against the rock. The wood and metal from the bar clunks from the other side as the guards immediately lock the gate in place. Look, the other creature now kneels halfway over and out of breath. Cameo? I came to wake the rest and to find Tal. Come, Drake calls, already half the distance the outer stone walls. Guards should be on the perimeters. They'll wake everyone. I begin to follow and I look back to Cameo, his worried face anxious to sprint for the cabins instead. We take shelter first behind the walls. We'll follow it to the cabins. Tal is safe in the barracks. They'll wake her and the others. She's safe. Run! My words turn to shouts as I rush behind Drake. Already feeling lucky for having taken no arrows, I wish not for it to happen now and in the open. Amid the chaos of the night, I do as Drake commands and follow him to the shelter of the wall. Arrows whistle out again as I feel the air brush past my head, only hair's width from striking fatal. After reaching safety, I glance back to Cameo, hesitating and following behind us. I wanted to shout to warn him of the arrows. To my horror, I had no time for any of it. He began his sprint for the walls behind us, but all too late. I hear as another round hiss hauntingly from beyond the dark. I watch in horror as an arrow thuds against Cameo, his body toppling over in the night. Cameo! Drake's voice quivers. Silence followed. Arrows were surely knocking amidst the stillness of the night. I waited unnervingly, fearfully pressing my back against the wall. I watched him, waiting for Kameo to call back. "Kameo, crawl to us! Get out of the courtyard!" My arms trembled against the wall, the cold stone pressing back against me. I held my breath for Kameo to move, to call back, anything. Kameo grumbles. I see the silhouette of his arm as he raises it, flopping on the ground in front of him. "Don't stand! Crawl to us!" I wait nervously against the wall, watching hopelessly Kameo crawls to safety nearby. "Are you hit bad?" Drake holds his paw to Kameo, who merely grumbles and collapses to the ground. "Oh, my leg. Oh, I'm fine." I glanced at him worriedly, but could see almost nothing in the night. The torches barely lighting the castle's main walls, which most likely was what highlighted our silhouettes for the attackers to shoot. "Well," Kameo stutters. Kameo groans nearby as they shout as the creatures in the night grow closer. It's strange they haven't stormed the front. I don't know what they're planning. What's happening? A night assault. It has to be bandits. No true knight would do this. Are they already inside? I heard screams in the inner courtyard. The Fae are holding off the walls on the other end of their arrows. Some snuck in their back before the assault. They're doing the best they can, but it might not last long. What do we do? We have to take Kameo to safety, then we wait them out behind the wall. Drake leans over, tucking Kameo's arm around his shoulder to lift him. We pass the opening here and fast enough, they might not shoot us in time. It's our only hope. Is there no other way? We wait and get overrun. Kameo can't fight back. With no sword in your hand, you can't either. I glance down to my belt, forgetting entirely I was in my bedclothes and left everything else in my room. Right, okay. I go to support the other side of Kameo as we brace the edge of the opening. Quick and fast. Go! With Kameo hopping between us, we pass the opening with the sound of arrows thudding just behind us. Weird. Don't draw in near if they're watching us. We're safe as long as they don't close in. Take Kameo to the cabin from here. I'm going to wait the others. I do as Drake commands, leaving Kameo in the cabin with Yara. I return to the wall with sword in hand. He does the same with 6 culverins at his back. We wait anxiously in the shadows. Sweaty palms hold swords tight as we watch the openings. Sounds of sparse fighting continue to ring from beyond the walls of the inner courtyard. I'm startled from above as one of the attackers falls from the castle walls with a sickening thump to the ground below. On the wall stood the kangaroo Nina, quick to turn from view without having noticed us in the shadows. It seemed the fight yet waged on within the walls as well. Should we go to the inner courtyard to help? The rest of the brigade is inside. The weakest point of Oldcastle was the front gate, which is why I rushed to close it. Once we know it is clear, we'll make our way to the inner courtyard if it has not been cleared by then. Where are the rest of the culverins? There are 2 stayed in the barracks. The rest is swooping the side of the castle to pin down whoever's on the other end. There should not be many of them, which would explain why they aren't rushing the gate. And that is where you're wrong. My heart sinks as figures rush the opening and far side the outer courtyard. At least a dozen stood, half of them with arrows knocked and drawn. We only meant to distract the front, but it seems you closed yourselves outside as well. You! Carly merely chuckles, low and sinister. What are you doing? We're not enemies of Malenthia. Yeah, fates of divination. The hawk holds his wings to the sky, ignoring Drake. Is it not so precious? Neywa is but locked in destiny, doing just as we'd hope. And all we need are the shards controlled, otherwise would doom us all. There are other ways. Enough. Talk does nothing. Carly grips his sword brandished by his side, drawing it slowly. The blade such as this, a gift by Neywa, all we need is Cora. If you want to save her and Malenthia as a whole, then you can die here tonight. Your only options are to make it quick or painfully slow. Kali twists his beak to his soldiers, words sharp akin to his scowl. Kill them. I pulled my blade as quick as I could, surging the arcane from the stone. Just as I was let loose, I felt the air bend as the force of blue whips around us. The shield was quick and faltered just as fast. The arcane was only enough to deflect the arrows as the soldiers beside me rushed our attackers without a scratch. With a bowman rush, they draw their short swords and clash against the culverins. One guard draws his sword, standing between me and Kali. I charge a soldier, ploughing into him with my body. Having braced for a sword, the guard is thrown from his feet instead. The manoeuvre lands me between the guard and Kali. The culverins divided among our enemies, over one with at least 2 soldiers each. We need luck to overcome this quarrel. I leave the soldier behind, taking advantage of my position to rush Kali. When my blade falls to cut him down, Nether swings in to meet its edge. Rushing from the side, a soldier I met before smiles back from behind his blade. It's so nice to see each other again. I almost forgot your face. He pushes against my blade, shoving me away from Kali. The guard I left behind rushes me, cut down by Drake only moments too late for his next strike. I've been dying for round 2. The guard chuckles from behind his blade, swinging without another moment's thought. The edge of the guard's blade stings. Use some arcane here. With ease, I use the flow of arcane to parry from the guard's onslaught. The continuation of our fight slowly leading me from Kali's position. The guard kicks the dust beneath his feet, ready in his stance to strike me down. I grip my blade uneasily and try the others a hand in the situation. The dark night alone limited my perception adds chaos to the mix. That's DC 12, let's continue the fight. With no other choice, I face Kali's guard head on. The guard swings, his blade landing its mark. I've seen enough. Kali steps to the guard, swinging his blade within the air. And go, tell the queen to make her move. The time is right. And now, we don't have the others fair I can fight. We are fine here. Without sheathing his blade, the guard runs off into the night from whence he came. Knowing full well the guard would just counter my swings, I let him go. More concerned for the party, I take that moment to glance at the others still rough in combat. Many of the attackers lay dead, but so did ours. I hear the faint sounds of battle still rage on beyond the castle walls. If we continue strong, luck would have our side. Kali smirks, brandishing his sword to me. I hope you're ready, knight. Kali swings relentlessly my now exhausted frame. His strike's persistent, his parry's resilient. Every blow I tried to land, he knew exactly where my eyes were set. I grimaced. It was impossible. Every blow. As if he knew where every swing would go, he blocked them all. Never had I seen such a fight as this. I faced Kali, my hand gripping the divine sword timidly. I'm going to use a health potion here. I absolutely need to. There we go. Let's go for a strong attack. I swing with all my might. Yes! The strike lands strong. Kali takes advantage, swiping with ferocious precision. I slash for Kali. He staggers from my strike. Kali thrashes toward me. Let's try the mana here. Okay, can't do that. to attack him again. I slash for Kali. Oh. Yeah, Kali parries with ease. Kali thrashes towards me. Health potion. Let's attack him again. I slash for Kali. He staggers from my strike. Kali thrashes towards me. Strike, block and counter this time. I hold my stance, wait for the time to strike. Oh, natural 20. Yeah, you can tell I play D&D. I get excited about those. Attack again. I slash for Kali. We're doing well. He staggers from my strike. Okay, 5 hit points. Come on, we can get him down. Only 5 HP left. Kali thrashes towards me. I slash for Kali. Yes. He staggers with my strike. Kali staggers back, frustration, blood running across his face. With swift motion he brings the strange sword to his chest, harnessing whatever abnormal arcane that dwells within. I brace for an impact of magic, only to notice the Kali fade from existence entirely. Missed magic. That can't be right. That's not what it should look like. I slowly stand to my feet, brushing the dirt from my clothes. Where Kali once stood, no dust showed, no signs of decay. It seems he fled. Wrong. Kali stands several meters off. He glances around wildly for a moment, double-checking his surroundings, locking his eyes back on us. Some of his cuts completely vanished, yet he appeared still tattered and exhausted. A slight smile cracks from Kali's beak as he raises his sword our way. It seems all is not over. Try it again. Whew. Here we go. I swing with all my might. Kali branches his blade with a scowl. I hold my stance, waiting for the time to strike. Enough with this! Drake attacks to no avail as Kali parries with ease. I slash for Kali. Yet Kali parries with ease. Kali takes advantage, swiping with ferocious precision. Drake attacks to no avail as Kali parries with ease. Health potion, good thing ball. Okay, attack. I slash for Kali. Oh! Natural 1, what's going on here? Yet Kali parries with ease. I'm glad that we didn't do a critical fail. Kali thrashes towards me. Drake jabs with his weapon, landing his mark. I slash for Kali. Oh, what is with these natural ones? Yet Kali parries with ease. Kali branches his blade with a scowl. Drake attacks no avail as Kali parries with ease. I slash for Kali. Oh, seriously? 3 natural ones in a row? Are you up to something, Kali? Yet Kali parries with ease. Kali thrashes towards me. Drake jabs with his weapon, landing his mark. I slash for Kali. Okay, finally. He staggers my strike. Kali swings his blade. But barely misses. You're getting the bloody natural ones, aren't you, Kali? Drake attacks no avail as Kali parries with ease. I slash for Kali. Oh yeah, come on. The sharp edge of my blade cuts deep across his skin. Yes, 0 hit points. I watch as Kali falls to his knees, sword stabbed upon the dirt to hold himself. For a second time he begins to glow as the arcane of the sword flows through him. The tremble of the ground comes as a dozen more attackers swarm the courtyard, readying their weapons to Drake and I. Without warning, lights illuminate the castle in a fiery haze, an awe-inspiring display of dazzling yet powerful arcane. Atop the walls stood Cora, holding the wrist outward to Kali. The wall lined with members of the brigade, arms ready. Far below, the gates of the castle crack open. Aswin, take this power from Kali. Heed these words. My heart pounded with a mix of excitement and trepidation. The skies now painted from the arcane. Winds blew with the force of an approaching hurricane. Sulphur scents overpowering my nose, accompanying them. From the gates poured the entire brigade, weapons swinging as they ambushed Kali and his men. With the dazzling magic from Cora and the onslaught from the brigade, the majority of the attackers turn tail and flee, only leaving the few who raise their blades to be put to the sword in swift combat. I could not tell if I stricken more with awe or dismay. In a blink of an eye, the light surrounding both Kali and Cora vanished. The air stood deadly still. The night had enwrapped us yet again. I pointed my sword to Kali, seeing a look of shock within his eyes. I know I tried to do a little kind of pacifist things, but fuck it, I can't stand this guy. I drive my sword through Kali before he could make another move. Exhausted, I collapsed upon the ground. Slowly, I reached for the mysterious blade Kali had wielded against us. Something was off. The stone within the pommel glistened like that of a tree tear, yet with a soft gold hue instead of pale aqua. The sword nearly felt as though it trembled at my very touch, or perhaps that was me. It felt the same as touching the roots of the world tree the moment my fingers grasped its edges. Around me, noises of the brigade shuffle about, aiding the wounded. Cora approaches, glancing at the sword now within my hands. That sword is powerful, Geraint. You must protect it. What is it? I saw the light casted on Kali. That stone's not a tree tear. It is the third moon shard. Has the fighting stopped? Yes, thankfully. Once we knew the inner courtyard was safe, we realized we could not find you or Drake. We rushed to the outer walls as fast as we could. Our losses might be more than I worried. What does the shard do? I cannot say for certain, only from what I saw from the wall. It's anything like the shard I have. All I can tell you is this, and I fret this importance above all else. Use it with caution. Use its power rarely. We do not yet know what consequence it may hold. Same as I must do with the shard I possess. I nod slowly, replacing the slot within the scabbard I had once for my old sword with this. Where do you think Kali got the sword? The Divine was right in all of it. That sword was what Kali has been trying to find for years now. He must have located it and tried to use it on us to take my shard. I realise only now how close we came to true defeat. If Kali had been successful, he'd have returned to Lavera with my stone. That would have given them a multitude of power Tavernos has never seen. I can't believe my own mother is so strive for these, that they would attack. Amidst a trembling voice, Cora collapses by my feet. The noise inside alone alerts the nearby guards who rush to her. What happened to her? Whatever she did to Kali with that cane has trained her. Tarbury props Cora into a sitting position, resting the back of her paw across her forehead. She needs rest. Clear way. Tarbury alone lifts Cora and moves through the crowd of now worried brigadiers. What befell the rest of the night was an escalating blur from the exhaustion and chaos that preceded it. Many were wounded, many more were killed. Even now I am not sure we know how many. We thought Kali's attack. But what lies for tomorrow? I fear now Lavera will surely retaliate. Oh, you look exhausted, Knight. You should head to your chambers. We have others who do not fight as hard. We can leave the work to them. I nod without a word, slowly walking the path to my chambers. I think we need to throw something into Arcana here. Maybe to Charisma. They're both kind of low here. Ooh. So we got two. You know what? Let's throw into Strength. We do a lot of sword fighting here. I think that's a good plan. I wake within the morning, sore and yet still exhausted. Not feeling the energy to leave my room just yet, I reach for the arcane sword. Feeling the spine of the blade glows as it sits within my hands. I shake my head. It felt bewildering that its power could cause so much desire, so much hurt. I watch as the glow slowly morphs to a dancing aura that vaguely encompasses the blade. I gaze at the visible arcane as it glides across my hand and wrist, slithering like a snake. It burned like a hot oven cloth, but soothed all the same. I don't think I could ever get used to this feeling. I could not tell if the powers these moon shards held were divine in nature, or somehow cursed instead. It didn't feel right nonetheless. As I held the sword, I feel the arcane just slip through my veins, coursing through me. I did no different than a tree tier, but felt so different, so much more powerful. I feel now as something within me changes deeply. Okay, interesting. Yeah, we gotta be careful with this stuff. With the past night still fresh in my mind, I relive the moments in thought. The fear of our enemies lurking in the dark. The death of so many. We lost so much of the brigade already. In such a quick attack by only a few dozen soldiers. As if reading my thoughts, the sword exhales light, pulling my attention towards it. Perhaps. Maybe there's a way it could be used to bring him back? This power is at all linked to the stones that guard had. The tree tears are orange. Maybe they were linked. If Carly could come back, maybe it could bring others back too? Cora enters with a gentle smile, noticing the sword within my hands. In the moment, her gaze softens, revealing a sort of empathy as she approaches. She takes a seat on the table across the room. The moon shards are strange, aren't they? Somewhat. It looks as though you were thinking of using it already. I was considering it. I know yesterday was difficult for all of us. I know how you feel, because I felt it a dozen times. Times when I'd approach a town and people needed my help, but I was just too late. My heals couldn't work. Same how I feel, almost daily with Alakar. But what has happened has happened. There's no change in things now. What helps is knowing what you can do and prepare for, that when the time comes you'll do your best. Thank you, Cora. Cora nods softly with a wordless smile. What do we do now? Hearing my question from the hall and his approach, Soma enters the room. We prepare. Lavera has become a major threat. So much so we have to prioritize her for Neywa's descent now. During the attack we lost around 33 soldiers. We're still counting them. Today we'll focus recovery, and we need to have a mass send-in for the dead. Before ascending though, and after the brigade rests, we need to clean the castle grounds, take count of all our dead and wrap them. Well, it's nice to take care of the brigade, should we not focus what's most efficient? We absolutely will not just toss them all in a pile. We'll have a proper ceremony, a proper send-in. It is only right. I just don't know how much time we'll have left is all. What if the Vera attacks soon? We'll do what is right. Maybe she won't attack at all. We killed our head advisor, we killed her soldiers. They attacked us, they keep trying to take my stone. I hear a faint sigh escape Soma. It's wise to take care of the brigade, Cora. We'll do a ceremony. We just don't want our guard lowered if the virus strike again. We'll be ready. 2 days later. Within the last 2 days, the outcome of our efforts within the brigade has begun to show through, for bad and good. While morale has been difficult to maintain, thankfully none of our members chose to leave after Kali's attack. However, with the reputation the brigade has gained, some creatures decide to take up under our name. Many from the countryside of Melenthia, and as far as Rixlian, believe the brigade will help them persevere against Neywa's descent. Luna Knight, I have something urgent to bring to you. What is it? Did you tell Cora and the others? No, I'm not sure where Cora is. I couldn't bear to bring this info to anyone else yet, for it may startle some of the brigade. I'd rather bring it to you first. What is it, Tawari? With a slim moment of silence from the guard, a creature walks in from the doorway. His mask drooped low, his walk an echo of his anxious demeanour. It was Saku from Raven's Hollow. An unfortunate occurrence has elapsed. Tell me then. With swift news, we heard of the attack on your brigade. The attack from Kali. Yate and I, we decided to send our best diplomats to Havenhearth to speak with Lavera. Saku's beak twitches within his mask, his black goggles dodging glances between Tarbury and I. Why not just send a letter with pigeons? This is quite a dire situation has been unfolding. We thought a physical presence would do much better justice. We wanted diplomats to perhaps lay leverage, find sorts of stalemate the hostility between the True Brigade and the soldiers of Haven. What happened? Something most atrocious night. Lavera's soldiers met them outside her walls. Without even letting them onto the ground, she killed them. Killed all but one on the spot, leaving him to flee home to us. Lavera has gone mad, and now marches to Raven's Hollow. What? Why? Why is she doing that? She is probably uneasy with the news of the Fae joining the brigade. Maybe she assumes the Ravens would follow suit. Mayhap, it is wild to assume and even to attack at all. No diplomats, not soldiers. That, and with Neywa's descent nigh, we think she seeks to take shelter of her creatures, by force. What kind of shelter could a wooden fortress of Raven's Hollow lend? Raven's Hollow is settled next to a hill with a small cave. There is a tunnel system that leads deeper into Mount Hari. But even we think that would not be sufficient for any sanctuary, let alone for civilization to outlast Neywa. That is our only guess. Maybe she seeks full control of Melenthia, the Ravens included. That is a possibility. She has seemed frustrated enough with the Culvens. Perhaps he can rid everyone in Melenthia not directly faithful to her wishes. Knight, this is dire. We never thought we'd need to ask, but we may need the assistance of the Brigade. As we have aimed to help you, we hope you may do the same for us. Carberry shuffles his stance, turning to me. I don't think we have much choice, Geraint. If we do not face whatever Count Olivera has planned, she'll rid the Ravens first, and most likely come for us. I don't think there's another way. I think she's just lost it completely. I must find Cora. I need to let her know of this. Thank you, Luna Knight. I will wait here. I cannot fathom the anxiety of heading back and waiting for a pigeon at times like these. I'll scan the inner courtyard again for Cora. Can you search the barracks or fields? Maybe she has left for fresh air from the castle. I nod as we part ways, taking my leave of the path along the outer walls. Reaching the first outer barracks that housed the few culverins left, I noticed a figure walking alone in the fields beyond. Narrowing my eyes, I noticed the familiar teal colours of Cora's dress. With a sigh of relief, I quickly approached her. Cora's eyes were set to the ground below. A slow, methodical placement to her steps distracted her. Only when I drew closer did she realise my presence. Her face discharged a similar tone of worry as mine. Geraint? What's wrong? I don't know if Soma told you. A few days ago we sent several creatures of the Brigade to excavate a cave near the edge of the Assyrian desert in Melenthia. Why do you seem sad about that? Because it's our only option if Sarah were to turn us away in the worst case scenarios. Did something happen to them? We didn't hear back from them for a few days, so we sent someone to check it out. When our soldier got back, she told us the cave had collapsed entirely. She waited for hours and heard nothing from inside. They're most likely all dead by now. A week or more, we have yet a single plan to save against Neywa. Cora slowly shakes her head. I was trying to clear my head out here, but I feel I can only think in circles. What was it that brought you to me? It felt difficult to tell her, seeing Cora's eyes, to tell her the pain and danger her own mother is causing. Best to just be upfront with it all. This will be heavy news, but I don't think there's an easy way to tell you. The Raven sent diplomats to Olivera in hopes to calm the hostilities of what has been happening. None of them expected she'd do what she did. What did she do? Saku came to tell us himself. Olivera had them all killed outside the city gates. They fear she aims to take Raven's Hollow by force and set him in the cave to outlast Neywa. That's absurd. Do the tunnels truly go that deep in Raven's Hollow? But what of Sarah? Saku did not mention Sarah. I feel that would offer more safety if that's truly what she was after. Maybe she tried already, or was shut off from the cave somehow. Have we spoken with the Lord of Asera lately? I know. We sent a letter days ago, spreading the warning of Neywa and if they had any solutions to help. We haven't received anything back. Maybe I'll send another. We might not be around for an answer. What do you mean? Saku has asked for immediate assistance from the Brigade. If Aurora takes them out, she'll easily come for us next. You might honestly be right, Geraint. So it seems we have no choice. We must make my mother speak for her actions. We may have to get ready then. I'm sorry. It's not your fault, Geraint. We'll have to stop her. Hopefully it can be done with little bloodshed. The creatures of the brigade are ready if they're sending as well. If I can, I'd like a moment alone before all of it. Four hours later. They're ready, Geraint. They have a spot for the ceremony in the valley not far from here. As ready as I can be. Let us go then. Oh, but you might want a coat and all your supplies. We might not be returning to Oldcastle for a while. And it seems the storm is overhead. Soma leads me to the top of the hill, overlooking the brigade and their camps. An event to mourn and remember, or so I recall from Lord Vesnar's sending. Was this the same? I could see it on their faces, the exhaustion, the fear of Neywa and the various shadow looming over them. Several unlit bonfires sat throughout the camp. Bodies of the fallen brigade had been interwoven into the layers of logs and straw. Their bodies were wrapped in garments and their arms crossed over their chest, and lay with an everlasting gaze to their destinations among the skies. From the top of the hill, I could still see and hear the nearest soldiers by their tents. I sit among the sounds of the rain tatter across their armour, their furs smelling heavy in the rain. Earthia beneath our feet trembled slightly for but a moment, a feeling we have slowly succumbed to as normal now. Now what happens now? We spread hope. Cora will sing, for the first time in a long time. It is not what I had hoped my first song would be in so long. A song of forgotten tongue. Cora whispers almost inaudible. She then clears her throat. For those that have been lost, yet to be born and yet to die, a tale to tell lest they be lost forever. Cora turned to the edge of the hill, overlooking the brigade. As she prepared herself, an occasional chatter of the soldiers below could be heard. They yet mingled among their own conversations. But all of that would quickly subside. Cora's hymn started gentle, yet progressed to a sense of confidence. Her voice was soon heard throughout the campground. Only in the moment that soft tones flowed from her lips, reverberating through the crowd and across the valley before us, did the soldiers grow quiet. As if carried through the storm by an arcane of its own, everyone heard the song of forgotten tongue. The soldiers stood in their hardened steel and wool furs. They shifted in silence the hymn she sung. Her voice carried weight heavier than any captain, any commander. The song was that of comfort, that of courage. Truth and remembrance collided in reality of what stood before them, of what or who they must now fight. To some, it was Neywa. To others, Lavera and old Melenthia. To the rest, the enemy was fear, the unknown. The soldiers stood in silence now. The only thing to escape their maws was the condensation of their breath forming clouds in the cold air that seeped from the storm around them. Even among the campfire and ale, the cold zapped at their souls. But Cora's hymn carried warmth. I decided to listen, to ponder. I see among the closest soldiers Tarbury the polar knight, with her head bowed and pressed against a glaive stabbed within the dirt. The flicker of the nearby fire cast a soft glow across her beastly armour-clad form. She listened with hope to Cora's hymn, only raising her face to gaze at the sky above. Her eyes spelled hope, readying herself for the battle that lays in wait. I look around the tent among the many companions I met along my journey. Venjo stands near the corner. The first time ever I see him in new clothes, or rather, a set of comfortably fitted armour. His eyes glossed with gloom. He's endured so much in so little age. I can barely imagine the pain he must feel having lost his father and brother so young. Hey, Fendu. You doing okay? Is there anyone? Among the brigade, Kamara stood with the Fey brethren in arms. Many of the Fey paced, fretting over our circumstances. I see Kamara exude unwavering determination. She turns and hands the Fey mugs of ale and spears. Today they will drink, tomorrow they will fight. They do not do so simply for the brigade, but their home at Threat just beyond Raven's Hallow. I observe Zane standing not far from the commander's tent. He props himself upon his spear, standing near to Hanina, Linra and Azalea, all of whom were unable to hide the emotions we all feared and felt this day. For a moment, Zane's eyes cross mine as he gives the softest of nods. He wore a bluff face, sharing a misleading display of strength and confidence, but something in his gaze spoke otherwise. As Cora's hymn draws to a close, the soldiers among the fields breathe a sigh of resolve. Her hymn instilled the necessary bout of confidence. Together, unity would carry them through. The smoke of the bonfires before them smothered the sky, racing across the fog and reaching towards the horizon. With ascending complete, tomorrow was nigh upon us. As Cora's hymn comes to a close, a few of the guards below cheered with blades raised, many of which, however, turned in solemn to the fires beside them. The camp slowly broke off, with many soldiers below heading to their tents or tables to celebrate with food. They had a night to prepare for what tomorrow may bring. The hymn gave hope. A select few of our companions and leaders surround the table in the commander's tent, ready to discuss whatever was next. Silence ensued for a moment, as no one wanted to be the first to speak, or even knew what first to mention. A lot could go wrong tomorrow. Without your help, the Raven Knights will be entirely doomed. We'll do everything in our power to stop this. Gate is a powerful strategist, and most likely be taking the brute force to the various soldiers. With the help of Kamara and the Fae, I don't see them standing any chance now. That's just all hope it is enough. Did we leave any troops in Oldcastle? We need every soldier we can get. And if we leave only the ones that cannot fight, then there'll be no one to protect them at Oldcastle. It is risky, but it is all we can do. Everyone will march together. The ones who can't fight will have to stay behind the battle. I thought the Ravens wanted to avoid trouble. That was their primary point of concern, which is why they did not side with Brigade too abruptly. With Lavera's actions going against common law, it is the Raven Knight's duty to help the honest people of Melenthia first and foremost. It seemed to be the major concern of the Ravens helping the Brigade to begin with. That's what the diplomats were for. Having remained a neutral faction, they never expected a single nation to attack them directly. So we're really fighting Melenthian soldiers? We have no choice. If Lavera really aims to wipe out the Raven Knights, then nothing stands in her way from marching toward the True Brigade next. If we don't merge our forces now, there may be another chance to do just that. What happens after? What do we do about Neywa? Seeing as how we have no answers, we must deal with it after this is done. I think I can try something. Remembering the stories of the gods, the idea of Neywa's descent only occurs when creature kind of Earthia have fallen too deep into the path of decay. Lavera's recent actions most notably showing this. But you remember during Havenhearth's siege? Some of the creatures around the table slowly nod. During the siege, everyone kept mentioning the lights above Haven, some of whom never seen them or somehow forgetting to have seen them. This light reflected the same as the conduits Kali was after. Like the blue from a tree tier, these cast an orange arcane. I think Kali was utilising the conduits, what I assume was sort of spell, or perhaps he was hastening the cycles of Neywa with them, or trying to control it somehow. I do not know. How? That sword the knight now carries. Is the moon shard behind that power? The conduits being a fraction of what it contains, but that power is still unknown. I've said it before, but the soldier guarded Coruscant had disappeared in that same light. Yet he was there when they attacked us at Oldcastle. Like the tree tears to Earthia, the moon shards have their deeper connection rooted to Neywa. It is wild speculation, but I don't know what other answer that would mean. But where are you getting at? What can we do with any of this? If this is the case, maybe we can aim to take Lavera's stone, the spirit shard she stole from the Divine. If we can do that, we'll be the first of creature kind to hold all the shards. With that power, who knows what it could bring? But it's what Lavera demanded from me only moments before I came Seeker. She had zero empathy for Vodos and cared not for any traditions we were trying to uphold. And the reason behind Oldcastle's attack. Drake slowly nods, scratching the bottom of his muzzle. I don't know what else we can do, but maybe with the shard I can use them to command, or somehow compel the cycle of Neywa's descent to stop, or change course. Akora? That sounds an impossible task. Do we have any other way? It was only now I was realising something. The Seeker and the passage of the Wisher's shard. Ishkia. This was the stone Divine had so long ago, when she still lived as an elf. The same stone that with which came the Sarian desert and the cursed creatures live with today. It seems as though, if anyone to know this, it was only Cora and I. The immense power and reason the Seekers were originally created was to find and withhold this power. The same power and cosmic risks that only Cora and I know. I am the Seeker, and I have the Wisher's shard and the power of my tongue to speak the words. Cora continues. Even if it kills me, I must try it. Otherwise it may kill us all. Doesn't seem safe. That's what happened to you after Oldcastle. You couldn't even stand. Cora looks at Tarbaru with a shaky smile, as if trying to reassure. Her demeanour ever so noticeable. With the shard, I will speak the words at the highest part of Melenthia, just at Mount Hari's point so Neywa will hear me. And with the knight's my conduit, with the shard he possesses, it will be the only chance we have. It's madness. I just don't see it working. What choice do we have? Cora's voice quivers. With hands to the air, she turns back to the camp laid across the valley beyond. No one wanted to admit it, but no one had a better idea. There was more uncertainty now than ever before. Soma, she mutters, turning back to the table again. You have always done right by me. You have protected me throughout my journeys, Melenthia. But right now, I don't need a protector. Valenthia does. Soma scratches his chin, turning his gaze from Cora to the wet grass below his feet. What, if I may ask, does the Stone of Era have do? The shard? It is the spirit shard of Aetia. We are lucky that its power is the lesser of the three. But we have never seen the three moon shards together. If I don't hear a better option, this is the thing we have to try. That I want to try. The table goes quiet. Everyone's still lost in thought. Does it have to be now? What if we just deal with Lavera first, focus Neywa another day? We can try, but we can't let Lavera getting what she wants, or risk us losing the chance to get the shard. And Cora sighs, rubbing the bridge of her nose with a squint of her eyes. And I don't know how to say. I don't wish harm to my mother. If by any means, I hope we can do what we must, with as little bloodshed as possible. The hardest any battle to accomplish. I don't want her forgiven, just not harmed. She should face the repercussion of her crimes against creature kind and the attack on us and the ravens. The ravens are sure to lose. We go soft on our attackers. Rumours begin to spread among the individuals around the table. Unease beginning to sprout. Stop. Let's just focus what we can, one bit at a time. We worry on Neywa, only after what is done with Lavera. If we'll even be so lucky to survive, that is. What is our plan? I discussed much with Cora and Saku. The day is late, but Jade is most likely beyond planning at Raven's Hollow. She had mentioned meeting Lavera on the field of battle, to keep the residents of Raven's Hollow safe from harm. She will likely have already started, and resting her knights in the valleys now, if I were to know her as I do. It seems Teng Ochre of Damascus has abandoned his men stationed with the ravens. The king had no replies to the pigeons we sent. With that said, some have quickly rallied the idea of fighting Lavera. The rest are staying to protect those in Raven's Hollow. Thankfully, that gives many hope Damascus may yet side with the ravens, and the brigade as a whole moving forward. Oh, we have but reinforcements in this quarrel. By the time we march at tomorrow's dawn, they'll be heavy in combat. I'll lead the brigade on our frontal assault when we arrive. The Lunar Knight will do so beside me. Why me? As a reinforcement wave, we want to be as bolted and strong as possible to overwhelm Lavera's forces. Drake then merely points to the sword I carry by my hip. You've also proven yourself in battle, more than most. If what you have is a moon shard, then we can very well use everything to our disposal. The brigade will cut through to the side of the Haven forces, and make a way to Lavera and her men. If the shard is what we're after, and if Lavera has it, the knight can focus that. As reinforcements, we'll want to act fast. What about me? I will be with them, but when we get close, we'll stay behind where it's safe. Not everyone can fight. I want to go too. It's going to be dangerous, Fendir. Creatures will be dying, so I'll be looking to hurt us all. You can't. That sounds like we have an idea then. Yes, we'll group and march first thing before dawn. When we spot Lavera and the ravens, we'll arrange whatever is necessary for a swift and successful counter. Best enjoy the night then. Alleviate what stress you can. Soma shifts the rapier in his belt, watching the others nod and stand. I never thought this was what would become of us. So quick to raise a brigade, and in doing so, maybe Valenthia's only hope. Many of my companions were quick to head downhill in search of food and rest. The others of which stayed to mingle. I will need rest of my own if I'm to lead the brigade. What have I forgot to say, Knight? Back at Oldcastle. I'm glad you're on the other side of that door. I was so foolish rushing to find Tal. I think I'd have been dead without you. Just play it safe tomorrow. Right. I never saw myself like ever having to be in a battle. The thought terrifies me. Needless to say, I don't think I'll be up at the front lines with you. So I hope you'll be safe tomorrow too. Please? Maybe. I guess that's reassuring. If you need any extra sacks tonight, I got some more tucked away. Oh, good night, Geraint. Hey, Furless. I know we never got to talk much. I'm glad to have joined your company. I think you've come this far and been so new to the ways of Tavnor just a month or so ago. Now here you are rushing to save the Ravens, most possibly Melenthia. It's a funny thing of you the day I saved you. Barely remembering anything. Lost. You look so scared. Yeah. Rain chuckles with a grin. Just promise me something for tomorrow. Yeah? Don't die on me, alright? Melenthia could really use someone like you. The Ravens, too. You better not either. I guess we all have our work cut out for us. Rain gives a final smile with a pat to my shoulder. Hey, Geraint. I didn't know if I wanted to tell anyone, but I probably should. What is it? Cora looks down at her wrist, holding it gently with her other hand, the stone within illuminating her veins with soft blue. After all, Castle, I wish for Aswin to take Kali's power so he can do anything against you. In doing so, I think I may have incidentally done the same to myself. It's not gone. No, I still feel it. And I figure I've done more harm to myself if I truly did anything so drastic. I feel it in my wrist still. The arcane. This must be the consequences the Divine had told us about. It's frightful. I hope it comes back tomorrow. I know I shouldn't focus near as much as I have, but I truly don't know what we can do. Have you felt it? In the air? What do you mean? It feels harder to breathe, just walking here, as if Neywa is stuck in the air from Uthia. Whatever the case, we need to fix this somehow, and I hope tomorrow's the last time we have to do anything like this. I don't think I can manage myself if anything were to happen to me as it did the Divine. Best to rest up while you can. We don't have many hours to sleep. Hey, Luna Knight. I just wanted to say thanks. I don't know what would become of the Ravens without your help. Well, I do know, but I'd like not to think of it. I hope we succeed tomorrow. Major changes will be in store for everyone, whether we win or lose. May the crow fly our side. As I made my way down the hillside to the tents, I noticed a familiar bear sitting outside his own. With a few boxes of supplies next to him, the merchant Brian waves as I walk by. I thought you were leaving Melenthia. Oh, don't you worry. I still am. I'm not fit for battle with the likes of warriors. I wanted to bring what was left of my wares if you need before I head off. Discounted too. Sure helps a travelling trader to move light. Could definitely do with a health potion. Thanks. It was sure is scary to see that big. Makes me feel uneasy. Thanks. Let's see. It's okay. I really don't know how many I'm going to need here, so okay, let's just top it up to 9 health potions. Thank you, Knight. I think it'll be the last I see you, so good luck. Nothing of Tavernock could prepare us for what we'd see over the fields of Melenthia. With swiftness did we march, but the valley was akin to an apocalypse. Many blades and bodies scattered the landscape. Hundreds. Echoing to the fog of war, clashing metal and gold screams rang. Beyond the immediate carnage, the masses still fought, encircling an encampment far in the valley. A mix of muddled, abandoned Raven and Havenhearth flags displayed uncertainty. It was not clear the casualties of either side. Hethwyn's sorrow. What? Saku's feathers dropped with his silence, while his expressionless mask as he stared onward. It was all possible to save the Ravens. We may have been but hours late. Looks the fields are more dire than one could hope. They had fight with encampments. We ready and make haste. The troops begin to file down the path, marching quick to the fields as Soam and the others stop at the hill's edge. Is this winnable? What shall we do? The forces could be evenly matched. Soam nods to the Raven encampment, gradually encircled by Havenhearth soldiers. What of the Zemerian forces? What of Loressa Leia's creatures? Could she not send more from the merchant camp? It is too late for that. We could send a ride. It would take hours for them to return from the camp, even at their quickest pace. We can continue what is planned. The brigade marches. When we are near, we charge. Kamara, can the Fae help? Yeah, at the right distance, we can rain arrows before the charge. Wait too long, we risk hitting our own soldiers. It won't be perfect, but it should help. The best tactic we have as reinforcements is to give the Haven soldiers no time to realise what is happening to them. Luna Knight, I hope you pick the best of your leaders to fight by your side. One who will fight true for you in the True Brigade. I'm kind of worried that this might take them out. And after the rest. I'm literally trying to decide here. As I say, I've not played this before. I don't know what's going on, so. Okay. That's Soma. Soma will fight beside me. As we have fought many fights this day, I will gladly take charge by your side, Knight. Then we are set. Now is the time. Drake unhooks a spear from his back, leading the march to the rest of the brigade. Steadily we march onward, weaving through the unsettling battlefield. The fog that smothered its remains was thick with the odour of distant fires. The smells hung heavy, only to be contested by that of iron and the sweat of the knight's fur. The dust from the valley kicked out from intermittent yet strong gusts that smothered our lungs with the fog. It felt as now I realised Cora's description on the difficulty to breathe. It almost needed to force my lungs to cooperate, trying to fill them as if I was atop the highest mountain. Hardly the best circumstances for a battle. As difficult as it was for the soldiers remaining in composure, we steadily marched between fallen bodies and swords. Yet all the tests against our mental fortitude were but far from over. As the sounds of metal clashing became louder, silhouettes of our enemies faded through the fog. It felt as though any moment would our charge begin. I gripped my sword uneasily, feeling the sweat below my palm. Constantly I shift the handle within my grasp. Each step we took, I grew more anxious. I felt eager to take the front, to lead the others, yet wildly terrified all the same. Decaeum's hex! What in all Tavnor is that? My vision narrowed to the field. Between the Knights of Havenhearth and us erupted a funnel of otherworldly screams. The sea beneath our feet trembled harder than ever witnessed before. As if a shivering giant, we stood uneasily among her flesh. In the midst of the gusts of sand, fiends began to form, materializing from the whirls of dust around us. Screams shattered the air, claws ripped from the ground. The brigade halted, readying their swords. For a moment, no one knew the madness of the situation. Would the fiends attack the nearby Haven soldiers or turn to charge us? Somehow, it was neither. A guilty relief chipped apart my anxiety. It left a horrifying realization to spread through me. I watched as the fiends tackled their way past Havenhearth forces to the Raven soldiers beyond. Having always witnessed the fiends as wild beasts, never would I expect such organised formation from the demons. With claw and fang they passed the Haven soldiers, began ripping apart the foundations of the encampment far from reach. They soon fell out of sight among the Havenhearth soldiers, and overwhelming the remaining ravens beyond. Beside me, Tarbury marched with heavy thuds beneath her feet. She raises her glaive for all the vanguard to see. Today we do not learn to fight. To fight you already know. Today we do not fear. To feel afraid you already know. Today we learn to die, but fight as if death itself be afraid of us. Battle cries erupt among a sea of swords now raised. The Fae pull their bows, raining arrows upon our unwary foes. Like a wave crashing upon the shore, the brigade spills across the battlefield, crashing among enemy knights. Unsuspecting soldiers fell swift to surprise. Metal cried louder among my ears like a haze within the fog. Blades and blood flew every direction. No second was left unfilled in cries of chaos. Beside me, Soma held brave and unfaltering. In short time, the Havenhearth soldiers stood together, fending from ambush. Among short breaths between the approaching soldiers, I gazed between the sea of armour. I'd hoped our pressure would allow the ravens to pinch their attackers, only to be disheartened at the sight of the fiends holding them at bay. The ravens cannot see us. They don't know we are here. The fiends? What in decay is this? Tarbury gasped aloud between the rush of soldiers. Let them know we're here. Sound the horns, let them know we've come. I yelled those nearest to hear. The echo of my words behind us followed swift the cries of war horns. None of us could tell, but merely hoped the ravens could hear. With immoral determination, our attackers strike relentless. I shake the nerves of my body to repress our attack, even among the few that broke through the chain of our soldiers. Like the things we fought was to fell as many as possible before more would overwhelm us. Now that we were closer, I could make out the forces before us. In a sea of gold and black, the various creatures were double the ravens and ours combined. With no option, the brigade presses on. Between all armies, many continue to fall. Our progress near minimal. I feel a call must be made. We must press on. If we back off, we may separate some of the Lenthian soldiers, further dividing their attention, drawing some away from the encampment. Any move to retreat, even slightly, could cause heavier losses. I think we should carry on. We can't distract the brigade now. All we can do is press our attack to their forces. Under the looming shadow of Neywa among the fog, battle still rages. The Lenthian soldiers now band together with the shouts of the Vera, her appearance barely noticeable among the sea of gold and black. Fiends trampled between the ranks of the soldiers, now full sprint toward the brigade. Within moments, knights were thrown from their feet, armour torn from claws. Why do the fiends not attack the Havenhearth soldiers? No victor was near in sight. I need to do something faster than Vera's knights refine their defence. I should have warned them. The fiend should not get the upper hand. With the temple sword in palm, I feel the power of Neywa finally speak to me with its glow. Something within me stirs. I don't know how, only I must do what I know. Holding the blade tight, the glow of the sword erupts in a bright orange. The arcane begins to crawl across my arm. Not only across my body, but my vision too, as everything becomes surrounded in light. Before I realise, I'm among the battle still, albeit in a place different. Yet not fully unfamiliar. I notice where I was 5 minutes prior. My mind fogged in a wave of deja vu. I see the faces. Faces I saw die moments ago. But they were back, alive. In nearly frozen confusion, I see the sight of Lavera again, her shouts among the wave of soldiers. Instantly I'm aware again. Hold steady! The fiends are coming! What? Tarbury grips her glaive, unsure but trusting. She shouts on allied soldiers near. In turn, the chain of voices is the same to those down the line. Hold steady! Fiends! Fiends! She echoes. In mere moments are followed with the fiends erupt from behind the Havenhearth soldiers, crying in shouts of rage. I look down at my wounds, the cloth and armour near torn. I'm soon out of the state of disillusion. With fog heavy, naught but 2 or 3 others were visible at any time, enemy or ally alike. If only we'd known the fiends would be here, and somehow on the enemy's side, we could have decided something different, something more effective. Fight one fiend was enough. An army of fiends was Decayum's soul incarnate. In the escalation of battle, both the Brigade and Melanthian Knights slowly back apart, able to see among the fog and dust. I turned frantically, realised I'd lost Soma among the disarray. That was until... As the dust settles, I gasp a sigh of relief when he comes into view. Wiping the blood from his blade, Soma nods my way. Almost lost you in the fog. Same. You had me worried, Soma. I didn't know I meant that much to you, Geraint. No worries here. He smiles, readying his weapon by my side once more. The enemy's not done yet. Stillness to the air lingers as the fog and dust of war continue to dissipate. The battle comes to a standoff as the brigade stands a short distance from the remaining Melanthian knights. Several fiends slink amongst the enemy, growling and hissing towards us. The Havenhearth soldiers untouched by their rage. But the day was yet to be over. Zerthia beneath trembles again. Soldiers fight to stay standing with shields raised. With the quakes as sharp as before, we can see cracks forming beneath the ground. The sun as the quakes came to the end alongside the fog that continued to dissipate around us. Neywa's shadow far above, now looming closer than ever before. Any moment continually felt like our last. Beside me, Tarbury and Cora rush forth. Luna Knight! Neywa is near. I do not know. No one knows. Slow down. What's going on? I have to do something. I'm going to make my way behind the brigade and around the battlefield. Tarbury will clear a path for us up to Mount Hari. Why now? Honestly, I don't know if we have 2 weeks, 2 days, or just 2 hours. I need to do this now while I still can. Geraint, listen to me. I need to do this. You and the brigade need to cut through to Lavera, take the shard from her and catch up with me. I cannot afford to wait for you, Knight. I'll continue what I plan to do. But you need to make it in time. With the shards, you can act as my conduit. Like Vatka was to Vodos, we must try. If that's what we must do. Cora, we must go. Before Lavera's soldiers charge us. Tarbury leads the way back and through our troops. Cora takes a final glance towards me, words near muffled in the sea of soldiers. Please hurry. I turn back to our troops beside me, with Lavera and her soldiers just beyond us. I raise my sword, desperation hanging thick in the air for us all. Among the clearing skies, one final gust swallows the valley in dust. On the sands, a figure begins to morph to reality. a shadow of a man standing twice as tall as any creature or elf. As if being blown away, the blue of the sky bleeds with red. The stars beyond Neywa become as clear as night, even amidst midday. The figure ahead towers above all else, standing between Lavera's soldiers and us. All creatures cowered from the sight of him. Among a horrific concoction of roots, bones and blood, the creature, unlike any other, looms forward with a painful stare. Words incomprehensible escape his lips as the fiends circling the encampment suddenly grow quiet, backing away from the barricades and remain inexplicably docile. Who? What is this thing? With the dust and wind gone, fiends ever so still, there's a silence of the battlefield ring eerily strong. With hand unnaturally steady, the creature points my way. You. I've seen of you from birth to now, to what may happen. To think anyone could make it through the veil. Intriguing. Who are you? Deity of fiends, expert of arcane's light. Some call me Detritus. Any who have known me know I am son of Decayum's flesh. What do you want here? The demon leans his head, grinning ever so wide across his root-infested face. A dull question, a monotonous answer. I could ask the same of you, but the answer is just the same. Ask another, then I shall decide whether to end you before I answer. If you've seen me before, then how did I get you to Melenthia? To think you'd know from the temples themselves. Or mayhap you never went, to never see beyond. You came because the conduit you once held, made from the moonshot Avi. Melenthia, Tavnor, not your home, but built of its ruins long ago. The river seeps to the flesh, the water tainted from a caster's essence, a shadow so sweet as it bleeds. Seep they do into the flesh, farther still until the sea below suckles the toxin through the moor of the underforest, no drop left undesired. You are done now, Luna Knight. Now show me. Let me see your shadow. Brigade, hold the enemy at bay. We don't die tonight. Soma branches his blade to a sea of knights roaring in charge. Songs of shield and sword sing again. Okay, let's go for a strong attack. I put everything behind my strike. The Tritex snarls, lunging me in a ferocious manner. I slash towards the Tritex. The Tritex laughs and strikes her, so our battle was but a game to him. Okay, I don't have great charisma, but let's try it. I shout the members of the brigade nearby, rallying to an ambush to Tritex. D20s come through in a clinch. The brigade turns their attention to Melenthian soldiers to strike the Tritex. All the while I fight, I feel the veins within my blood boil, channeling the arcane within the sword. I keep the power at bay, readying if I ever to need. Blood trickles from the Tritex's eye, his stare peering ever into my soul. Perhaps if you bent to the whims of gods, they'd pity you, if they had not perished so. You're the first I've seen to not immediately delve deep to the arcane. Scared to drown, or just unable to swim. What are you getting at? I've always noticed how you fight. Your will is strong, yet you do not falter to an easier path merely because it presents itself. I wonder, as if creature kind is yet even aware, do you not know for who the tree tears grow, whose blood feeds the flow of arcane? My breath lands heavy from my lungs. I decide to take whatever time Detritus is given to recuperate my strength. Arcane comes from Aswin. No, the arcane is not the waters of Orthea. It's not the force of Neywa or the fire of the fallen Aswin. I almost hate to say, because I love that you still don't know. It is all so fun. Detritus reared his head once more, gurgling laughter between his teeth with the force of his entire chest. The Seeker's use the arcane in deception is pure. That they are good, as if Neywa's hex is somehow a cycle controlled by mere beasts. No, you don't deserve to know. Detritus points towards me once more, the bones of his chest trembling from a galactic glow that begins to illuminate from the abyss within him. A vivid flow arcane explodes from within him, spouting across the battlefield with the force of a hurricane. A nearby knight runs to my side, covering us both with his shield. Many others, both foe and ally, are obliterated to sand in the blast. Our game just begins. I put everything behind my strike. Detritus swipes the nearest soldier, cut him practically in two. Valenthian, Raven or Brigade, he seems not to care who. I slash towards Detritus. Detritus laughs and strikes if our battle is but a game to him. I shout at members of the brigade nearby, rallying to ambush Detritus. Among the chaos of the battle, so few soldiers hear my call. The few that run to strike do little damage. Okay, did a couple of damage to him. Knight, this might help. Soma tosses a potion to my hands. The centre of Detritus illuminates as he roars, reinvigorated himself from the arcane within. There's a health potion here. I slash towards Detritus. Detritus laughs and strikes if our battle is but a game to him. I slash towards him again. Yet he loses my blade. Detritus laughs and strikes our battle is but a game to him. I slash towards Detritus. I see it now, why the veil chose you. The arcane flows in red. Its blood fuels you whether you wish to succumb or not. I ponder now what becomes of you, Lunar Knight. Detritus grins, lifts both his arms and conjures a swirling gust of sand, as if it were a creature held by a leash. The sand among a storm pangs against my eyes, as I shield my face. Since the moment I see from the corner of my eyes, Soma rushes Detritus amidst the distraction. Soma, don't! Soma swings his weapon, lodging the blade deep in the bark of Detritus' skin. With hardly a wince, Detritus' grin returns. Like an axe stuck to a log, Soma yanks on his blade to free it. To no avail. A parting gift. The Triton's grips Soma's shoulders and slams against the protruding bones of his own chest. The roots and bones convulse, tearing to Soma's armour and body. Nothing could escape his grasp for a scream of agony. A gust of sand sprouts from seemingly nowhere, the Triton's vanishing alongside the wind. A single heartbeat for a moment passes, and the sand and dust fade to the wind. The Tritox and his fiends now gone with it. Soma stands hauntingly still but for a moment before collapsing, lying motionless on the ground. We sprint towards Soma, but by the time I was there, I was too late. Naught but a whisper escapes his maw before his final breath. I can't. I Haswin, no! With Soma's face covered in blood, I couldn't look at him. I tore my eyes away, falling down to the sword at my side. Even with the fleeting power of the arcane, the sword glowed. It begged to help. I could use it. I could change something, fix it, save him. But can we? Well, what will that do to us, to Melenthia? No, this is how it must be. I fear I play in a magic that continues to bring pain. This is how it must be. I'm sorry, Soma. The brigade faces wearily the remainder of our opponents. Amidst the centre we stand surrounded as many bodies as soldiers, casualties of all factions. We stand in near silence, catching our breath as we face Lavera's soldiers yet again. With now we can force and no fiends to stand their way, till the ravens from the encampment begin to shout and strike from the centre of the field. From the clash of metal and shouts, a woman's voice rings bold and assertive. Knights, the day is not done. We finish this. With all his breath, Drake shouts to rally the knights. Make them yield! The brigade cheers, stampeding towards Lavera and her creatures. In a final spout of blood and tears, the deadly battle finally wanes. With no fiends to garner fear, the Melentian soldiers' morale diminishes entirely. Many on the edge of the fields turn tail and flee, leaving any left to yield or die. As war cries turn to cheers, the metal clashing fades to the valley's edge. Only then do the remaining Melentian soldiers throw their swords to the ground. With swift foot, brigade knights kick the swords from reach, encircling their remaining foes left alive. I find my path to the ravens beyond, where Stenmir stands with blade towards Lavera. She shelters her distress, showing not even a face of fear or worry. She scowls his way, freakishly calm. Tell me again why you did this. With blade pointed sharp, Stenmir growls. Tell me again, so Aswin herself can spare you a torment as dark as Decaeum's. Neywa's descent was already upon us. Inevitability set in celestial stone. I did not know it come so fast by mistakes of Kali himself. I took a risk for Melenthia. No one wanted to see it through. I'd be in the hand to control Neywa on my own. With the moon shards we could survive. You speak as if you care. You don't. You can't say Melentians and ravens in the same breath used to hurt them. Your ignorance led to incompetence. Jade wipes blood from her muzzle, matching Lavera's leer of ice. Culvens, Damaskins, ravens, heathens and liars. All would perish in the moon's fire, and I'd have saved those who trusted me. With the moon shards I'd walk the footsteps of Aswin, and the world would see me save them. I would have been the saviour from the moon's fire. Lavera turns to me with a face I could barely recognise. She shakes her head slow. You have doomed us.
No, Lavera.
Stenmir snarls.
In your blindness you have brought forth the worst days Melenthia has ever seen. Aswin alone have pity on you, for we do not. Doomed or not, you do not get to see the day.
The wolf abruptly steps to Lavera, holding the edge of his blade to her throat. With structure of steel, Lavera does not flinch. Her eyes gloss over, beginning to dart back and forth as the veins to her wrist begin to shimmer. What is this? Lavera blinks with knitted brow, her face morphing from disgust to bewilderment. Her breathing intensifies, pushing the blade to nick herself with the rise and fall of her own chest and shoulders. Don't let her try anything. Kill her now. Jade steps forward, hissing.
Well, she won't.
Stenmir narrows his eyes, pulling his sword away and raising it.
What is this act?
Lavera gasps, her distracted gaze finally fixated on the point behind Stenmir. He glances, only to notice her awareness transfixed to an empty space beside him. My sweet. Vesna, how?
If you think tricks will save you from your fate, you're mistaken. Those be your last words. Tell me now so we can end this.
Stenmir, are we not sparing Lavera as Cora asked? Linra steps forward quickly, emotions torn between Raven and Brigade.
She has done more harm than good. Now she has a moon shard. She's a danger.
Lavera closes her eyes, the glow to her wrist fading slightly. Oh, the tricks you'd play. She looks back to Stenmir with a scowl once more. Even in victory, how cruel.
Is that it?
Lavera lowers her head, breathing in slow and heavy before speaking again. What was noticeable of her face turns cold. With faded emotion she gazes at the dirt below. When the rocks turn to dust and the moon flies away, a new day will dawn. Fate's a less fortune, but a horror for days gone. Blessed be no one when your day is done.
Cora, forgive me.
Before me manifests a vision of the tree, floating within a flock of partially translucent light. A haze of a shadow resembled Lavera wavered before me, separating to dust. A greenish hue flowed from her wrist like a river, separating into two streams, one of which flowed to my outstretched wrist, the other to the tree beyond. As I open my eyes, I feel my legs falter before thrown to my knees. Looking at the ground, I see my wrists now each with a haze of arcane set within my veins. My head spun, my body shook, I could barely see. It wasn't until I hear the shouts of others that bring me back to consciousness. My body wasn't shaking. The world was yet again kicking dust from the rocks and bodies. It wasn't stopping. What do we do?
Wait, tremors will stop. Back to Raven's Hollow. Today is not the end. We hold strong. Half of you take those who surrendered. Lock them up. The other half, grab your kin who died.
Stenmir sheathes his sword. With hand to my shoulder, he helps me to my feet.
Where is Cora?
She's heading to Mount Hari from what she told me. How'd she go there? She plans to stop Neywa, somehow.
Go get her then. The fighting here is done.
All right. Immediately I turn to the mountain, racing up the path that leads to its summit. Fallen rocks tumbled every direction. They crumbled from the edge of the cliff above me as well as the edges beneath my feet. The strength of the quakes gave me little hope they'd subside at any time. Beyond far in the valley, I see the tiny figures of the remaining army waver in the quake, able to continue their orders. Part of me felt uneasy I'd rushed out alone, just as someone's voice alerts me. As the shaking the ground beneath us barely diminishes, if at all, the source of the voice steps from view beyond the boulder just ahead. Mayu stands before me, her blade drawn, her eyes glare cold, hiding something beyond them. What are you doing here? We fight. That is what I'm doing. This is where I stop you. We don't have to fight. Lavera's been beaten. Her army is no more. What is wrong with you? Mayu's sword arm shakes. She begins to slowly circle me as I step to the side, always facing her. I have to stop you, or you have to stop me. There is no in between. Why? Why can't it be anything else? The ground beneath us quivers, consistent to Mayu's trembling voice. You don't know what it's like. What it's like to fuck this up as I have. I could never look to her face again. I failed her. Look to whose face? Lavera's? Or Cora's? You can come back to the brigade. Cora will forgive you. Seemingly unsure if she still wished to attack, Mayu continues to circle me till my back was pressed against the rock wall behind me, the cliff's edge behind hers. I can't. She might forgive, but no one will forget. Even more an outcast than I already was. And leave us behind. Leave Melenthia. Mayu looks away, pondering for a moment before shaking her head. I did so already. When I left home towards Yama, I messed up. When I was banished from Zevia, I messed up. Just when things might have been okay for me here, I messed up. I'm tired of having to fix what I've broken. I'm terrible at it. Just to ruin things all over again and worse. At least, this way I won't break anything again. Mayu closes her eyes. A single step backward was all it took. Surrendering to the rocky edge, she made her last choice. With the sheer rocky edge, I couldn't dare look over. I don't think I'd even want to see. She was gone. I continue my pursuit cautiously up the mountain, for I hear my name called behind me. Geraint! What are you doing here? I saw Cora heading up the hill, and when I saw you going too, I wanted to catch up. It's not safe here. Yeah, it is. Safer than anywhere else. The fighting has stopped, did it not? With a frown, Fender begins to walk past. He goes up the hill. I follow closely, wondering how much farther to the top. With our continuing ascent, the quakes of Athea never ceased. The uncertainty of Neywa escalated with the steps we took to Mount Hari. We had to pause our walk, holding to the side of the rock wall. Tremors erupted, strong as ever, gaining in intensity. Then, suddenly, as if feeling to diminish entirely, I felt a shift beneath our feet. The tremors stopped. I glanced up to see the horizon lowering from view, shrinking. Bewildered, I glanced over the edge. My heart collapses to the very depths of my body. I shudder, clinging to the rocks beside me, holding myself steady from the view ahead. The tremors ending, the horizon shrinking, all from the rocks beneath us losing grip with the ground. As if gravity was sucked from Athea herself, no longer remained connected to the flesh of the trembling giant beneath us. suspended entirely in air. I stared above at Neywa, hovering uneasily overhead. The sun had passed by, ending its prolonged eclipse. That didn't make it any less ominous. Unsure how to proceed, or what may come of us, I stayed put, holding to the rocks as I gazed over the fields and hills below. I saw beyond the hills and mountain tops I couldn't see from ground before, the edge of my new horizon beginning to shred apart. Trees were bending from the ground, tearing from roots or simply snapping entirely in half. Rocks and debris flew in the air as easy as leaves from a gust. Beyond, I could see the top of the world tree far in the distance, swaying vigorously in the wind, branches the size of towers splintering away from it. I clasped my chest, realizing I could barely breathe, the daylight above blending into a starry night sky, baffling my already perplexing reality. Neywa was tearing everything from us. It hurt to breathe, not from the dust or debris, but the cold that zapped inside my airways. As if sucking air through a straw, it took everything just to squeeze air into my lungs. It was now or never. I looked offended before gathering myself to my feet. Slowly, methodically, I continued stepping towards the top. I needed to reach Cora. She was even there anymore. Near the top I could see it all, the fractured summit of Mount Hari we stood upon gradually suspended now high above the skies. Below, the rocks and trees gathered in the skies, whipped like they were thrown from a tornado. We stood above it all, with the starry skies above and Neywa overhead. The air was calmer, but still all the difficult to draw breath. Geralt, Knight! Near the side, Tarbury crouched by a boulder, grasping to its edge. Cora, been trying to stop it. The bear speaks, each word using every sip of air left in her lungs. Help! Stop it! I approached Cora from the side, her attention undivided from Neywa. Her mouth was slightly agape, her lips mouthing like she was speaking words, but I could hear none of it. Only the wind howled what I could perceive sounding like a constant echo spiraling below. And like a funnel gurgling water, a visual arcane leaked into the skies. I glanced first at my left wrist, a pain emanating from what I can only imagine is the shard Lavera held, now glowing green from within, as if roots were twisting among my veins, tugging them. The sword in my other hand began to glow as I fell, feel the void of the arcane before me. The point of the blade finds its way to the sky, my fingers trembling to hold it. I see past the spine to a darkness devouring the light in the skies. Blood-soaked clouds shred across the horizon, failing in their escape from Neywa's grasp. The blade at my fingertips, like an extension of my wrist, shivers. The metal's core now bitter cold, the forces upon it stronger than any warmth of the arcane I could bring to it. A different burn begins to bite my wrists. Like frostbitten fingers, I feel the stings akin to the roots of the divine. Arcane tugged at my veins and flowed like seaweed to an ocean stretching my nerves, like a dance curious to observe, yet agonizing to perform. I held the sword best I could through all of it, even my fears of the sword snapping back to the pieces it once was. The blade proved me wrong. As though sharpened for a purpose it never knew it would fulfill, the sword endured. Like croaking of a ship's hull to sea, the blade bowed to arcane. Albeit strong smith, the edges were dull from the world's fate it cut to. With the weight of the arcane extended to my veins, my attention thrust back to the pain of my nerves beneath bone. The pain wasn't random, it was centralized, purposeful. I withstood everything that I could manage. Like the burning roots of the tree, I must endure. Surely, eventually, it had to subside. It will subside. From light to dark, beacon to burden, the arcane floods. My body shook, wincing at every surge. All I could do was play the emotions in my head, over and over, hope we would succeed, feel an end of relief. Would it end? As if my thoughts and memories had cried to an empty cave of stone, everything echoed back. Endless tunnels, endless echoes, voices of every event, every dream, every pain. What's the point of this? I cared, but is it even enough? We might die either way. My arm quivered from a searing pain so strange, so foreign. It was already started. All I could do now was end it. I observe an aggressive shade of arcane envelop Cora as she's lifted from the rocks. What follows a sudden flash that drowns the sound of anything else around. The light so glaring I have to shield my eyes. Even darkness cannot escape the blue haze that erupted from behind my eyelids. Everything was drowned out. Noise of the wind, the searing burns of my arms. Everything I felt and knew was out of my mind as arcane precipitously flooded my veins. But as the flow turned to trickle, a relief washed over me. I opened my eyes to a bright blue before me. The ground at my back rested against me as still as a sleeping cat. My vision pulsed, blurred in a haze. I didn't hurt. I don't think I did. My vision drifts to Cora, slowly falling back to the ground. Was the arcane suspending her, or did time move slower? I could feel the adrenaline pumping through me, making the veins of my neck tense uncomfortably so. My lungs expanded and contracted rapidly. Was I hyperventilating? I tried to focus my breathing, mentally noting the crisp, fresh air washed through my nose. The air was pure, clean and plentiful. My attention drifts to Cora again. Something felt uneasy. The pain had not ended. Cora? Fendir rushes to his sister as she falls. Nearly unresponsive, Cora glances toward him. Are you okay? Is it done? Fendir pauses, glancing in the sky to double-check in disbelief. Uncertainty filled the air. He gazes for a while as if to make sure over and over that what his eyes showed him was true to his perception. Yes, you did it. You and Geralt did it. We did? Fendir nods, his hands trembling over Cora's. Neywa looms large in the sky, yet shrinks with every passing breath. Cora's gaze drifts to the sky. With a soft whimper, her cheeks run wet with tears. Cora, why are you crying? Fendir's lip quivers. His efforts to hold back any tears instantly shattered. Stop. You know everything is good now. You cry when you leave me. Cora weakly forces a smile, unable to reassure any comfort. Cora, you're not going anywhere, so you don't get to cry. You don't get to... I'm sorry. With her chin gently nestled to Fendir's shoulder, her eyelids surrendered to the weight. No. Cora. As time progressed, the moon, Neywa's destruction, reached its end. The chaos, although short-lived, did not go gently by. The widest cataclysmic disaster all creatures of Tavern had ever seen caused many casualties. If left unchecked, it would have devoured the world. In time, Neywa returned to his normal position in the sky. Forests and mountains reshaped in the shift. Cities and structures of creature kind were not able to go unafflicted. It all could heal and be built anew. To those not home to Melenthia would assume the event was the totality of Neywa's descent. Only in time would they hear of the last lunar night and the Seeker's sacrifice, and what they did to save creature kind. Yet many will choose to believe it a false story. Many, except for those in the battle for the Ravens. Moving back to his tavern with Tal by his side, Kameo helped in the growth of Leun into a small village. In time, Tal grows to be her own person, but leaving on happy terms with Kameo this time. Joining the Ravens as a squire, she would still come to worry Kameo, but he knew the knights would keep her safe. Having passed away in the path at Mount Harry, little is left of note for her legacy. It's known she tried to kill the knight during the siege of Havenhearth and failed. No one would truly know the mercy she showed in her troubled times, left to be forgotten among the many Melenthian soldiers who followed Lavera. With no heir left to land and orchard, the knight helped Soma in acquiring the property goes up to auction by the royalty in the helms of Melenthia's new control. In a bittersweet turn of events, Kameo manages to buy the property and funnel a great wine through his inn. With Soma dying during the Battle of the Ravens, he goes on to be remembered as the Great Royal Guard to the Last Seeker and a co-leader of the True Brigade that stopped Melenthia's corruption. With the Culver Knights no more, Rashek decides to turn a new leaf and join the Ravens. Having fought by their side created new bonds. He grew happy with the outcomes of Melenthia and the trajectory it would head with the new leader at their helm. Many that followed him did the same, realising they should right the wrongdoings their brethren did in the old name of the Culvens. Having created the True Brigade by the Lunar Knight's side, they lead the reinforcement to the Battle of the Ravens to defend Melenthia's honour against her very mother. The battle itself be remembered in tale for centuries. The sacrifice she made at Mount Harry to be told by Fendur later garners widespread attention and respect. Cora's name soon goes to be remembered as the Last Seeker, her heart and story pure. Being the last of his family line, Fendur faces an uphill battle even among the peace that follows Melenthia in the world. To witness the death of so many near to him, his heart has a harrowing journey of recovery. Yet, as with the end of any dark tunnel, comes a light of day. Just like the human night, more would soon come of Fendur's story. Grown attached to his comrades Melenthia, Zane survives the Battle of the Ravens to join the ranks of the Royal Guards and advisor himself. But a new occupation gave him protection from the reaches of his demanding father, the Lord of Acera. Although despising the idea of being king himself, Zane grows passionate for his role under a new authority of Melenthia, acting not only as an advisor but trusted protector of the new king. Linra and Azalia do the same, enjoying a new life setup for them among Melenthia's capital of Havenhearth. The trio goes on to maintain happy relationships among friends. Many of those lost their lives in the short time of Neywa's descent, many more injured in the battles that preceded its ending, but most of whom the Lunar Knight knew lived to see Melenthia's rebirth. With the help of the deal made by the late Prince Alikar and the Damaskins inadvertently joined the Battle of the Ravens, many took part in ending Lavera's corruption. Demacia and Melanthia's relationship slowly mended from what was once a long hostility between two nations. They would never become a full alliance. The hostilities would be fall to no more than an occasional bandit attack from either side to innocent country folk. Majesty Ten Ochre of Demacia will still always keep Melanthia under watchful eye, as is his militant nature. With no clear heir to Melanthia, many were curious to hear the news of Lavera's corruption, the truth behind her acts and her children that rose to combat her. Rumour quickly spread in the streets of Lavera's misdeed to Fendur that he would still have been the original, rightful heir under correct traditions. Despite his strong, opinionated nature against royalty, Fendur soon takes up the helm as Melanthia's new ruler to fix the wrongdoings done by his mother. With the help of many friends from the Ravens and the Brigade, this would eventually be achieved. Many stood behind him, with Melanthians having seen more of Cora and Fendur than many of the prior leaders combined. Some, as always, would never care for royalty, but that will always be the way. King Fendur kept the hearts and minds of many, having known the upbringing he endured. As Fendur would grow, his enjoyment of being king never grew with it, but he did the work that was needed and did it well. After what led to the Battle of the Ravens, even with Fendur as king, a sour nature still sprouted between Raven Knights and Melanthia. The shift began from the old teachings of the Ravens, and the nature they once originated from was put to shelves. In distant time they would grow marginally divided from the pacts made long ago. Akin to Asera, the Ravens set forth plans to build a new region of Tavnor, with a city of their own. With a new city yet to be named, the Ravens would keep their neutrality for now, but no longer stay bound to the pacts that were made. They would continue their sword for hire, mostly in the name of Aswin, but in the name of coin as well, to bolster a new growing economy. With Fendur as king, and the Seeker's true purposes ousted, false traditions were abolished altogether. With Cora as the last Seeker, no more would be forced to follow her path. Outdated traditions needed to be changed. The Moonshards were powerful, oftentimes corrupting, and could not be adhered only to a system of inheritance by the nature of one's birth under royalty. Far in line of abolishing wrongful traditions, but keeping in mind the wishes of his creatures and subjects, King Fendur gained in popularity. Soon, no longer would the king and queen's children rule through traditional monarchy. The system would change to elections, held by the creatures of Melanthia. They would prioritise creatures of knowledge and advisors to uphold their livelihoods. With the appearance of the demon Detritus at the cusp of Neywa's descent, rumours spread of the uncertainty of the Seekers, the Moonshards, and the Arcane as a whole. King Fendur, having seen both good and evil that could come from the Tree Tears and Arcane, knew the dangers it held. With uncertainty, the powers of the Arcane grew more fringe. To many it was seen as an evil, and the true cause of Neywa's descent, no matter the caster's intent. Magic use became limited to the Fae. Distribution of tree tears now widely illegal. What became of the Moonshards after their merger would go unknown. Yet among the blood-ridden valley near Raven's Hollow, a peculiar tree sprouted. Many would tell tales of a haunted field. Stories of bloodied soldiers walked the plains, and only the foolish would go to catch a glimpse of the mysterious tree. All that was left now of the near collapse of Melanthia and the world of Tavnor, the creature kind nearly lost, was the mysterious story of the fabled and unknown human that entered it. So quick to be knighted to Melanthia, Geraint was known in history as the last Lunar Knight. Having assisted Seeker Cora in creating the fastest growing brigade Tavnor ever witnessed, he led their brigade to the Ravens' rescue. It is widely believed the outcome of the battle for the Ravens and Melanthia as a whole would be drastically and most likely horrifically different. That is, if the True Brigade hadn't intervened. However, similar to the last Seeker herself, Geraint had disappeared that horrific day. Even to King Fendur's knowledge, the knight never appeared after the conjoining of the Moonshards. Little is known what had become of the human, but the knight's legacy lived on alongside the Seeker as the saviours of Melenthia and Tavnor as a whole. Tales outside Melenthia grew wild over the mere existence of the human, soon spreading to lore and tales of an otherworldly creature. But some aspects of the tale, true or not, were always told. To many, the knight was a saviour from Aswin, a saviour from the gods. The knight was kind and always true with acts from his heart. Many revered the legacies of the last lunar night. Amid all the harshness reality had enforced onto the tales of the night, even the companions of the brigade were amazed at the joyful nature their human friend upheld. As if untouched by darkness, the knight fought true as a beacon of light, not just as a legend but a role model, becoming a story of what one could strive to be in such a cruel world. Child creatures grew to reenact the traditions of old and the stories that followed as folklore, a moment to play or listen to bedtime tales. The realities of the truth to blend with fiction in time, as all things do. But with all lore, fiction or not, the truths always remained buried within. The legacy was real, Neywa was repelled, and Melenthia's rebirth existed to show for it. Many still could not help but wonder what truly happened on the mountaintop of Hari, or became the fabled human, the last lunar night. First mind's thought I'd assumed I was enraptured in the flames of decay. But when pain did not come, when terror gave no torment, my mind became transparent. I felt no pain, but neither did I feel comfort, as if no feeling existed within me, taken or yet to be given. The darkness on the edges of my vision dissipated the clarity. It was then I realised the crimson shade around me was not a demonic fire, but a tranquil flower, yet still as vibrant red as blood. The echoes of my suspicion were not fear now, but uncertainty. So many feelings transpired through a journey, though not all of it pure or good. The evil only had as much power as it was given. Also I could assess within the thoughts I lent to my reality. Or was I enraptured in something new again, and these thoughts merely a feeling yet to be felt? You cannot tell. Not with certainty. Never with certainty. As if I was letting go, but somehow of my own accord. And in this sliver of time, I realised I was not alone. The presence gave welcome to my silence, allowing me to find in my mind a sea of red before she would find a voice in a valley of blue. A lingering hesitation, but a muse of decency, respect, she brought with the calming nature of a mother to child. I decided to reach out to her in voice. In my confused nature, I spoke. Where am I? When finally she returned in kind, her words hymned bittersweet softness. Her words soothed the very essence I felt within myself. There's anything there to feel. Night, Geraint. From the ashes of our past, we emerge reborn. You are where you should be, Geraint. At Destiny's forge, a smithy becomes more than just a blacksmith. A hammer, not merely a tool, but a catalyst of change. It is your hour now, my child. Seize the hammer. The metal will sing on its own. All you need do is listen to the melodies. And so ends our Seeker saga. Can we please have a moment of silence for those we lost in the battle? So I'm not sure whether there is more planned for our character Lunar Knight, but I would definitely be up for reading and playing that one. I've really enjoyed this. I'm going to do a longer video than me just talking for a couple of minutes here. Probably in a few weeks, just talking a bit about stuff in Moonfire, what I think of it, and kind of a review. So that will be happening in a while, but overall, yeah, I've really enjoyed doing this, and there's a lot more for you to see as well if you play it yourself. I always have the Steam link in the description. Definitely go and play it, and actually you can go and check out more of the temple stuff, which I didn't get to in the previous episode. So that'll be really interesting. I have to play this through myself again sometime, and try out some different things and see if my RNG is any better. 3 wins in a row, seriously? But yeah, again, I hope you enjoyed. Do go and check out the game on Steam if you can, and give it a play yourselves. And yeah, we'll be keeping an eye out for something new. Next weekend we have Sanctuary. I know that's been a while out. I've just been busy trying to get through it, so it happens on Saturday, and we have more Echo coming up. But more importantly, during the week we have some new Spectrum of Hybrids. We're starting up a new route which my patrons voted on which of 2 characters we should go for, so that has been decided. And for any Jagger fans, don't worry, he will be reappearing in that one. Speaking of my patrons, as always, thanks to everyone who donates to the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. You are so appreciated. My top patrons are Andy Peng, Aaron Fox, Bastian, Baker, Ryan Hall, Cobus Visser, Dissonance, Exact, Grizz, Harvest Mouse Productions, Evan King, Kartek, Matt Kenya, Mario Cervantes, Gracious Yevon, Lark Huskerton, Greylock, Eddie Bear, Verbals Need Coffee, Arama Tarasu, Tiger Cub, Smuto, Spiderling, Rafu, and Omar. Special thanks to them. And also, very major thanks to Moonmunch Studios. The dev sent me a key for this so I could play this, and I very much appreciate you doing that. I might not have encountered this game otherwise, and I've had so much fun doing that. But before we go, one more thanks. Sivalian writes the channel music here every week. And if you wonder why I'm mentioning Siv now, we are going to go right into the main credits from Moonfire. Thanks for watching. I hope you've enjoyed this series. I definitely have. Bye for now.